Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. In 1992, this book by John Gray became a sensation and a bestseller. But its ideas are not always supported by scientific data. Some differences between genders are indeed obvious. But is it true that men and women think differently, or is that just a stereotype? What about the idea that men are rational and aggressive while women are emotional? Does the female brain really differ from the male brain? Or do the differences stop below the waist? But all of this is just pop psychology. Scientists have long noted that, on average, the male brain is about 100 grams heavier than the female brain. However, this hardly explains differences in cognitive, perceptual, and emotional processes. And it certainly cannot be used as an argument in a debate, like saying men are smarter because their brains are heavier. Just look at whales. Their brains can weigh up to 9 kilograms, but that doesn't mean they are better at math or philosophy than humans. What's more important is the ratio of brain mass to body size. For instance, ants have a brain-to-body ratio of 1:4. If humans had the same proportion, our heads would weigh about 20 kilograms. But would that make us any smarter? After all, intelligence is not about size, but about the number of neural cells and connections. In other words, brain quality. And this is where researchers got a little confused when comparing male and female brains. Recently, scientists from Tel Aviv University decided to clarify the situation. They analyzed the brain structure of 1,400 people of both sexes. They found differences in certain brain areas, including the hippocampus, a region responsible for memory, emotions, and attention. It turned out that, on average, the left hippocampus in men is larger than in women. But, oops. Some men had a left hippocampus exactly the same size as that of women. After identifying several other specific regions that differed in structure between the sexes, the researchers found that up to 55% of people, both men and women, fell into the category of exceptions. They had at least one brain region whose structure or size was atypical for their sex. And the number of people whose brains fully corresponded to the concept of a male or female brain in all aspects was only 8%. So, based on this study, we can confidently say that there are no strict boundaries between male and female brains. However, every human brain also contains neural connections. In 2013, researchers from Philadelphia paid close attention to them. They found that, on average, men have stronger connections between the front and back regions of each hemisphere, while women have stronger connections between the hemispheres. Unfortunately, no definite conclusions can be drawn from these findings. One might speculate that men have a stronger link between incoming information and responsive action, while women's rationality is more closely tied to intuitive processes. But this remains just a hypothesis based on preliminary data. And again, but there are also hormones that influence brain formation. One of the key hormones is testosterone. It is considered a male hormone, but women also produce it, just in smaller amounts. Simon Baron-Cohen, a psychiatrist from Cambridge, discovered a link between testosterone levels in a mother's amniotic fluid and the development of her child. The more testosterone there was, the later the child began to speak, and the harder it was for them to maintain eye contact with people. These are traits associated with autistic behavior, and in extreme cases, they may lead to autism itself. Baron-Cohen went further and suggested that autism is an extreme version of the male brain, shaped by an excess of testosterone, a high ability for systematization, but minimal capacity for empathy. However, this hypothesis remains controversial in the scientific community and requires further research. Overall, there are still no definitive conclusions in this field, but if there's one thing we can state with certainty, it's that it's time to let go of outdated stereotypes about female logic or the idea that men don't cry.